Heads up, 20 ups, it's Wednesday. Wednesday, explosion Wednesday. Funny story, I met Wheezy Waiter, I met Craig. Um, when he came to Seattle, it was when, ironically, Dan Brown was in Seattle, so I met him too, and Danielle, and Cynthia from the Sin channel. So I met the four of them, and a bunch of other cool YouTubers in the area, including like Adam the Alien and Aber Small, and just, met some really great. Oh, and the Dancing Hawk, Jonathan, he's so awesome. So yeah, I met a bunch of cool people, and there was this wall at Cal Anderson Park that said explosion on it, and actually made it look like there was an explosion on the wall, how it was painted and everything. And Wheezy Waiter did a handstand there, and it wasn't on a Wednesday, but it was still kind of awesome. So yeah, that's one of the reasons I love being Wednesday. So I'm currently at my cousin's, so the wall is her eldest daughter's room because they're loud out there. I mean, they're really loud. I've been trying to do this all day, and they're just so loud. I'm gonna start out by saying, Jins, I am sorry about your loss, and I wish you well. TJ, that wheelchair thing, that was awesome that you stuck with it, even though you kind of didn't want to, but you stuck with it. I kind of had to do the same thing almost, but not really. It wasn't really much of a choice. I couldn't actually walk very well. I had one of my toenails was cutting into the toe, which was really painful. This was like years ago. And so I wasn't able to really walk on my foot. Even just trying to walk on just the heel of my foot hurt because somehow it put pressure on my toe in a way, trying not to put pressure on it. And so it just hurts. So I had to go in my grandmother's wheelchair, which she luckily had, and yeah, kind of got stuck in a wheelchair for almost 2 days before they could fix it. It was not fun. Um, so I understand and commend you. Lucy, thank you for saying your daughter's name. I will try to remember it, but I'm not guaranteeing that. Craig, I'm sorry you missed that concert. That was sounded like it was fun, and I'm sorry. I don't know why, I just am. Danielle, thank you for clearing up the whole flute piano thing, and I actually have always regretted that my parents couldn't afford to give me piano lessons, and that the only thing they could afford when I was in middle school was renting my flute, and I eventually saved up and bought the one I have now. And so, yeah, that's how that goes. James, those were awesome stills that you did before your video. And thank you. You know what for. And I will continue to thank you. So, I like the idea of chatting with each other. If it's a grand idea. I'm open to listening to everyone vent, or who, if you need like an outside eye, or you just want to hear a third-party opinion on something, I'm all open for that, particularly ranting. I know what it's like to rant for just because, and to listen to it, so I'm all for it. I've got a bunch of messengers. Skype doesn't really work on my connection at home usually, so yeah. And Rant Week. I love Rant Week. That is so awesome. I want to do that. So if we could do Rant Week, that would be great. That would be very great, because if I don't have one at the time, I can just browse around online and find something to rant about. And the collab P4A is awesome sauce. I'm in. So I asked a question last week, and I loved everyone's answers, and I'm actually going to go through everyone's answers. So, and these are not in the order given, but this is an order that I wrote them down in. So, variously between Disney, Nickelodeon, and in between, we have a list of Rocko's Modern Life, Legends of the Hidden Temple, The Adventures of Pete and Pete. There was a camp television show mentioned, and there are two from our era. One is probably what you were thinking of, Lucy. Salute Your Shorts. That was at a summer camp. And then there was another one that was at a Western style camp, and they would do horse riding and things like that, and that's called Hey Dude. Doug, Clarissa Explains It All, The Secret Life of Alex Mack, Animaniacs, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Invader Zim, Aw, Real Monsters, All That, The Pink Panther, Looney Tunes, Digimon, Men in Black, SpongeBob SquarePants, Hey Arnold, Rugrats, Ed, Ed and Eddie, Rocket Power, Saved by the Bell, Recess, The Golden Girls, James, I love you for that, Star Trek Next Generation, Cowboy Bebop, Trigun, Guts, Kenan and Kel, Small World, Jins. We had something in the US that was the equivalent on Cartoon Network that I remember called Oh Yeah Cartoons. Not sure if they're anything like each other, but I don't remember anything up here being called that, so maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Pingu, Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab, Cardcaptor Sakura, Discovery Kids Network, The Simpsons, and Boy Meets World. And I left one out, and that's because Jins, like I just said to James, I love you. You mentioned Ghost Rider. You were the only one to mention Ghost Rider, and that was my show. I never missed an episode. Another show I noticed from our era that people missed was the Magic School Bus. How could you people forget that? We all knew the Magic School Bus. That was a staple. Pee-wee's Playhouse was a staple for us too. Except Danielle, I kind of understand you guys. You didn't really have TV, so it's okay. So I'm gonna give my list, my personal list, in the order from anime, cartoons, live action. So it starts out with one of my biggest shows was Sailor Moon. Then Samurai Pizza Cats. Those are the animes that I remember that weren't named. I didn't watch some of the ones I do now that were from that time. That's because they were more adult aimed than they were for kids. So anyway. Disney's Adventures of the Gummy Bears. Pepper Ann. Reboot. Family Matters. Step by Step. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Yeah, we all knew that. That was basically ABC, you know, TGF or TGIF. We all knew those shows. This next one, it was mainly for little kids, and so it was early 90s. And it was called Under the Umbrella Tree. And there was a woman and then three puppet characters, a blue jay, an iguana, and a gopher. And I don't know if anyone remembers that show. It was pretty obscure, but it was there, and I remember it. And then these two other series I still watch sometimes, and I will leave links to, if the one channel, I'm not sure if there's anything on YouTube, I might just leave one to the opening, but I'm going to leave you a link to the first one I'm going to name. It's slowly being uploaded because a friend found that she had at least half of this series recorded on cassettes, and Disney only put about 6 of the 100 episodes made on cassette, and it's eventually just gone into obscurity. And I'm also leaving a link in the pants, your pants thread I made on this show, and it has links for everything you need to do with the show, and you guys can search for that. And the show, which is just, I know everyone knows it, is called Adventures in Wonderland. And it is about a girl, Alice, in our day and age, who goes to Wonderland, and they learn lessons. Another show was by Nickelodeon, and I loved it to pieces. So much that when I found the whole series online somewhere, I downloaded it and I still have it. And I'm actually, this is why I asked the questions, because I've been starting to rewatch this series and it got me thinking about other shows I watched. And it's called Space Cases. And I don't know if you guys remember it. It was about a group of kids who got lost out in space, kind of like Star Trek Voyager, only not as far. And kids were running the ship, and the ship was organic and alive, and there was this machine that spoke to them for the ship, and my God, it was so awesome. And yes, we didn't mention Power Rangers, but the kid who originally played the Black Ranger was originally in Space Cases, and I know some of you might remember the show Firefly, and I think her name's Kaylee, the one who was the mechanic. She was also on Space Cases as a mechanic. Um, so you kind of probably remember it. I hope everyone remembers it. You guys can all go insane on it if you like, but that was why I did it, because Adventures in Wonderland I'm really big in right now, again, and Space Cases I've been rewatching, and I just made me think back, with you guys around and everything, and we're talking every week, I just like, what do you guys remember? I had to know, so that's why I asked, and that's what it is, and that's all I have to say. So, yeah, I will see you guys in the next week.